Chosen one. Listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause around you, silencing the noise of distraction, pulling you into this moment where the prophetic alarm rings loud and clear. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble onto these words by coincidence. And you are certainly not like the rest. This is a divine interruption, a heavenly summons. September is not like other months. And the days that stand before you, the 11th of September, sure are. And 13 carry a weight of eternity on them. If you miss what God is saying now, it could cost you everything. There comes a moment in every chosen life when destiny knocks louder than doubt, when the whisper of heaven drowns out the roar of the world. That moment is now. The call is urgent, because your alignment in these days will decide whether you walk into your inheritance or forfeit what was designed with your name written on it. Do not scroll past. Do not dismiss this. The fact that your heart beats faster right now is proof that the Spirit of God is confirming something within you. You have survived battles others would not have endured, nights of tears, mornings of confusion, days of rejection. Yet you stand, not by your own strength, but because you were preserved for this very hour. Chosen ones are often misunderstood, pushed aside, even abandoned. But none of that was wasted. Every wound, every delay, every season of silence has led to this point in time. The prophetic clock is striking, and the heavens are declaring, "Wake up, chosen one, for the time has come." End of time. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. Do not be troubled or afraid." This is the unshakable truth about you. You were set apart before you even opened your eyes to this world. That is why the darkness has fought you so relentlessly, because hell has always known who you are, even when you doubted it yourself. Beloved, understand this. Prophetic days are not ordinary days. They are open windows where heaven bends close to earth, where destinies shift, and where the hand of God rearranges what man thought impossible. The 11th of September, Shah, and 13 have been carved into the calendar of eternity as days of divine realignment. And if you position yourself in obedience, you will never be the same again. But hear me clearly. Distraction is your greatest enemy in this hour. Hell will not come to you with horns and fire. It will come with busyness, with delay, with voices whispering. You can deal with this later, but later will be too late. You cannot afford to sleep through a prophetic alarm. When heaven opens a window, it does not stay open forever. Chosen one. You must respond. You must step forward in faith, in obedience, in surrender. Do not think lightly of this word. The Father is drawing a line in the sand, and He is calling you to step across it. This is not just about blessing, it is about survival, about inheritance, about eternal positioning. Heaven is speaking, and your response determines your outcome. Do you feel the stirring within? That is not emotion, that is the Spirit. This is not coincidence, this is divine intervention. God has pressed pause on your life so that you could hear Him now. Beloved, take this seriously. When you honor the moment honors you. When you obey the call crowns you. Chosen one. This is your promise. You have crawled long enough. You have stumbled long enough. Now is the hour to mount up on wings like eagles, to rise above the storm, to step into the destiny reserved for you since the foundation of the world. So, let this be your prophetic act. Right now, respond in faith. Do not just listen and move on. If this word confirms what the Spirit has already been whispering to you, then take action. Share this message so another chosen one does not miss their hour. Subscribe so you remain connected to the flow of prophetic words prepared for you. And as a mark of obedience, type in the comments the prophetic number 999, declaring that you are stepping into divine completion and new beginnings in this sacred window. The alarm is ringing. Will you hit snooze and miss it? Or will you rise and answer? Chosen one, step carefully into these words, for you are about to understand why the 11th of September, Shurat, and 13 are not just days on a calendar, but prophetic markers set in motion long before you were born. These days are charged with divine intention. They are not random. They are not ordinary. They are thresholds between seasons, moments where heaven leans close to earth, and destinies turn on invisible hinges. You feel it already in your spirit, that tug, that restlessness, that awareness that something is shifting. You cannot explain it fully to those around you, but within, you know these days are pregnant with purpose. For years, the world has looked at dates and times as simple markers of history, but the chosen ones know better. They sense when a day carries spiritual weight. The 11th of September, Shurat, and 13 have always carried a trembling in the atmosphere. Some see only tragedy or routine, but the Spirit reveals alignment, unveiling divine opportunity hidden in plain sight. These days are carved into eternity as days of remembrance, correction, and commissioning. Chosen one, your journey has not been random. Every delay, every wilderness, every unanswered prayer has prepared you for the unveiling of this prophetic alignment. The 11th of September reminds you of what has been lost, but also of what can be redeemed. The 12th of September calls you to stand between endings and beginnings. The 13th of September ushers you into a divine release, a season where what was delayed is accelerated. These are not ordinary days. They are days when the page of your destiny book turns. The darkness understands this too. That is why, throughout history, these dates carry weight in the natural world. Where heaven marks blessing, hell attempts to plant fear. Where God signals alignment, the enemy builds counterfeit patterns of distraction. That is why you must not look at these days through human eyes alone. You must see with prophetic vision, understanding that God has circled them with purpose for His chosen ones. Think back to your own life. How many times did you feel the heaviness in September? A sense that something beyond the natural was stirring. You dismissed it, perhaps, or could not find words for it. Yet here you are again, standing on the edge of these sacred days. This time, you cannot afford to walk blindly. The Spirit is saying, this is not coincidence. This is alignment. This is the hour when the chosen are awakened, when slumber is broken, and when the Spirit calls you higher. These days are not for the casual believer. They are for those who carry heaven's seal. If you are reading this, it is because you are marked. Heaven does not waste words on the indifferent. Understand this truth. Prophetic days are not about emotion. They are about positioning, whether you feel it or not, whether the world notices or not. These days carry divine instruction. You are being invited into a heavenly transaction, a moment where obedience unlocks inheritance. If you sleep through it, you risk missing doors that will not open again soon. If you respond, you step into acceleration beyond your strength. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not rely on your own understanding. Beloved chosen one, the weight of destiny sits heavily in this hour. You are standing in the middle of prophecy, not as a spectator, but as a participant. These days are not just about nations and headlines, they are about you, your calling, your inheritance. While the world watches the surface, heaven is watching your heart. Will you recognize the time of your visitation? Take this into your spirit. The 11th of September, Shirar, and 13 are days when the veil is thinner, when the whisper of God is louder, when the assignment of the chosen is stirred to the surface. They are not days to blend in, but days to stand apart. They are not days to bury your head in routine, but days to listen with trembling attention. What you do with these days will echo into the months and years ahead. The prophetic alarm is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. Heaven is not calling you to panic, but to awareness. God does not set aside days for your destruction, but for your elevation. If you heed the moment, you will find clarity. If you ignore it, confusion may multiply. The difference is in your response. Chosen one, mark it well. These days are a holy summons. Heaven has written them into the scroll of your life. And now it is time for you to see what you were preserved for. You have waited long enough. The appointed time is here. Step into the awareness of it. For the 11th of September, Shirar, and 13 are not ordinary, they are divine. Chosen one, hear this clearly. Your tears have not been wasted. Every hidden cry, every sleepless night, every burden you carried when no one else noticed has been gathered in heaven's jar. The world may have overlooked you, but God never did. The 11th of September, Shirar, and 13 stand as prophetic markers, not only for nations, but for you personally, because these are the days when the weight of your hidden prayers collides with heaven's appointed timing. Do you remember the nights when you whispered prayers you could not even finish? The sighs, the groans, the questions that had no answers. Heaven remembers. Nothing you endured was forgotten. The prophetic truth is this: pain is never wasted in the life of the chosen. Every valley you walked through was shaping you for the mountain you are about to stand on. These days are not random. They are the answer to cries you thought had been ignored. The enemy tried to convince you that silence meant abandonment. But silence was preparation. The reason you were held back, the reason doors seemed locked, the reason answers tarried is because God had circled these days on the eternal calendar. You could not step forward before the appointed time. Now the appointed time has come. Understand, beloved, that the path of the chosen is unlike any other. Others may live carefree, drifting through life without much resistance, but not you. You were chosen to carry more, to endure more, to see deeper, and to hear clearer. Your tears have been the price of clarity. Your struggles have been the furnace of strength. And now, September opens a door where your hidden labor meets visible reward. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 56, Verse 8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Think back. Chosen one, you endured betrayal, yet your heart still beats with compassion. You faced loss, yet you did not turn bitter. You stood in storms, yet your faith did not break. The refining fire hurt, but it did not consume you. And this is the evidence that you are chosen. You survived what was designed to destroy you. Others would have crumbled, but you stand because heaven preserved you for such a time as this. Now comes the call. Do not waste this prophetic window. You cannot step into these days carrying the weight of yesterday's pain. This is the hour to lay down what was so you can embrace what is. Your tears were for preparation, not for paralysis. If you keep rehearsing yesterday's sorrows, you will miss today's alignment. Heaven is declaring, it is time to move forward. And these days of September are holy intersections. They are moments when destiny demands your attention. And the question is not whether you have cried enough. It is whether you will rise now. Your tears purchased the doorway, but your obedience will carry you through it. This is not the season to shrink back. This is not the time to doubt whether you are worthy. Heaven already decided you are worthy when it marked you as chosen. Beloved, your testimony is being written. Even now, the things that once broke you will soon become the very words that heal others. Your scars will be a map for those still lost in the valley. That is why you could not give up, even when you wanted to. That is why you are still here, even when you thought you would be gone. Chosen ones do not die in the wilderness. They are preserved for the promise. You must understand that the 11th of September, Shu'ar, and 13 are not days of mourning, but days of turning. They are the days when the pages flip in your story, when sorrow turns to strength, and when silence gives way to sudden answers. Heaven has circled these days to show you that your waiting was never in vain. But here is your prophetic act. Type in the comments, I rise now, not as empty words, but as a declaration that you refuse to stay bound to the sorrow of yesterday. This is your line in the sand. This is your public witness that you accept heaven's invitation to move from tears to triumph. By writing these words, you are aligning your voice with what heaven has already spoken over you. It is not a ritual, it is a response. When you declare it, you seal it. Chosen one, lift your head. Wipe the residue of yesterday's battles from your eyes. The prophetic alarm has sounded, and heaven is ready to release what has been delayed. Your tears were not wasted. They were the down payment for glory. And now, the day of release is at hand. Rise into it. Chosen one, you stand now at the threshold of a battle not fought with swords and shields, but with spirit and truth. These days of the 11th of September, Shu'ar, and 13 are not just prophetic markers of remembrance and redemption. They are battle lines drawn between two kingdoms. One kingdom seeks to bind, blind, and bury you beneath the weight of lies. The other calls you to rise, to see clearly, and to walk in the authority. Heaven has already written into your destiny. Do not be deceived into thinking this battle is only symbolic. The clash of kingdoms is real, intense, and personal. It shows up in your thoughts, in your relationships, in the opportunities that suddenly appear or vanish, in the pressures that weigh on your chest when you try to step forward. The enemy knows these days carry prophetic weight, and so his strategy is simple. distract you, discourage you, and drag you into doubt, so that you cannot take hold of what heaven is offering. Consider the moments before a dawn. The night often feels thickest just before the first light breaks. In the same way, you may feel the pressure increasing, the warfare intensifying, and the doubts whispering louder as these days approach. But do not mistake the pressure for defeat. Pressure is a sign of breakthrough. The very reason you feel this battle so sharply is because the enemy senses what you are about to step into. He fears your alignment with heaven's timing more than you can imagine. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Chosen one. In these days of September, your call is not to retreat, but to recognize. Recognize the strategies of the enemy. Recognize the authority you carry. Recognize the voice of heaven above the noise. You cannot afford to mistake distraction for destiny, or resistance for rejection. When the warfare intensifies, it is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is confirmation that you are on the right one. Imagine a soldier who does not realize a war is happening. He walks casually through the battlefield, unarmed and unaware. He becomes easy prey. Now imagine another soldier who sees clearly, who knows his position, who carries his weapons with confidence. That soldier may still feel the bullets fly and hear the chaos roar, but he stands unshaken because he knows what is happening. That is who you are called to be in these prophetic days, not blind, but awake, not helpless, but armed, not a victim, but a victor. This is why heaven is alerting you now. The alarm is not to frighten you, but to prepare you. These 3 days are a pivot point in your story, but they are also a pivot point in the unseen realms. Hell has launched its counterattack, but heaven has already declared its outcome. Your role is to remain steadfast, anchored, and aligned. If you waver, you give ground. If you stand, you advance. Chosen one. Let this truth echo in you. The kingdom of darkness only fights what it fears. You have been resisted because you are dangerous to hell. You have been pressed because you are precious to heaven. And now the clash of kingdoms reaches its peak, because your next step matters more than you know. These days are not just about what happens around you, they are about what happens in you. Will you bow to fear? Or will you rise in faith? Do not expect the path to be smooth in this hour. Expect resistance. Expect sudden storms. Expect voices that try to pull you away. But do not despair. When you expect the battle, you will not be caught off guard. You will not misinterpret warfare as abandonment, but as confirmation. Heaven is with you in the fire. Angels are stationed beside you, even if you cannot see them. The spirit within you is greater than the pressure around you. Chosen one. Stand firm. These days will test you, but they will also reveal you. The clash of kingdoms is not meant to destroy you, but to display you as one who carries the seal of heaven. This is why you are here. This is why you were preserved. Do not shrink back. Do not misinterpret the weight. The prophetic days of September are sharpening your vision and strengthening your spine. The battle is fierce, but victory is certain for those who endure. And you will endure, because you were never chosen for defeat. You were chosen for triumph. Chosen one. The hour has come when heaven's scrolls are being unsealed. These days of September are not just about personal battles or hidden tears. They are about divine assignments being revealed and released. You have felt the weight of waiting, the long silence, the uncertainty of why your life carried such pressure. The answer is here. Heaven has preserved you for a scroll, an assignment, a purpose that is now being opened before you. Think of a sealed scroll in ancient times. It could not be opened by just anyone. Only the one authorized had the right to break the seal. In the same way, your destiny has been locked, waiting for heaven's appointed hour. September is that hour. What was hidden is now being revealed. What was delayed is now being dispatched. And the assignment written with your name cannot be handed to another. Beloved, this is not just poetic language. It is reality in the Spirit. You have been carried through valleys, refined in fire, and lifted from ashes for this very moment. The scroll of your life is being unsealed, and your assignment is coming forth. Some will not understand it. Some will resist it. But those with eyes to see will recognize that the hand of God is resting on you. The prophet Daniel spoke of scrolls sealed until the appointed time, and now you are living in one of those appointed times. What was once a mystery to you is becoming clear. Dreams that once felt scattered are aligning. Pieces that once seemed broken are being put together. Heaven is showing you not only who you are, but what you were sent here to accomplish. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 19 still echo today. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Chosen one. Creation itself has been waiting for you to awaken to this assignment. Every mountain, every valley, every soul you will touch has been waiting for you to step into the fullness of your calling. And here is where the weight meets your heart. You cannot carry this alone. Even Moses needed Aaron. Even Paul needed the churches. Even Jesus allowed others to walk with him in the garden. Your assignment requires alignment, not isolation. That is why you are being drawn into this community, into this flow of prophetic words and heavenly guidance. When you engage, when you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are not just supporting content. You are participating in the spreading of light. Each click becomes like a torch passed forward. Each share is a seed that lands in someone else's barren soil. Each connection ensures the flame does not flicker out in silence. And yes, for those who are stirred in heart, even your giving becomes a sacred act. A donation is not just money, it is oil poured into the lamp, ensuring the fire keeps burning. Just as the widow poured oil into Elijah's vessel, just as the early church laid their offerings at the apostles' feet, your support is a way of saying, "This matters. Let the message keep running." If you have been fed, strengthened, or awakened through these words, consider sowing back, so the table remains set for others who hunger. Think of it this way. You are holding a scroll in your hands, but beside you are countless others waiting to realize theirs. Your simple act of engagement, your willingness to pass the torch, might be the very thing that causes another chosen one to awaken. What you have received freely, you now have the chance to help multiply. Beloved, let this sink deep. Your assignment is bigger than you. The scroll being unsealed is not just for your blessing, but for your legacy. It is for generations after you. It is for those you will never meet, whose lives will shift because you said yes in this moment. That is why the Spirit presses you to act, to align, to support, to engage. Not because heaven is desperate, but because heaven has chosen to partner with you in this sacred work. Do not underestimate the power of small acts. A like can feel like a ripple, but ripples make waves. A share can feel like a whisper, but whispers can turn into shouts. A seed given in faith can feel small, but heaven multiplies it into a harvest. Every act is noted, every step recorded, every sacrifice honored. Nothing is wasted in the hands of God. So as heaven's scrolls are unsealed in this season, make your response clear. Say yes not only with your lips, but with your actions. Say yes by standing with this message. Say yes by ensuring the flame does not flicker out. Say yes by lifting this word so others may hear the alarm and awaken. Chosen one, your scroll is being opened. The weight you feel is destiny unfolding. Do not shrink back. Do not think lightly of it. Heaven is watching. Creation is waiting. And this moment is holy. Align yourself with it and walk boldly forward. Chosen one, pause and listen closely. These days are not days for delay. You have already felt the trembling in your spirit, the awareness that something monumental is unfolding, yet delay whispers to you like a soft serpent, telling you, tomorrow will be better, you still have time. But heaven declares otherwise. This window is not eternal, and procrastination in this season will cost more than you imagine. The truth is, this obedience delayed is often obedience denied. The enemy does not need to drag you into outright rebellion. He only needs to lull you into postponement. But you were not chosen to live on pause. You were chosen to walk in step with heaven's timing. The 11th of September. 10 and 13 are a door. Doors do not stay open forever. Think of Noah. He built the ark in obedience, even when there was no rain. Imagine if he had delayed, waiting for clearer skies or easier days. By the time the rain fell, it would have been too late. Chosen one. Delay is the weapon the enemy wields against the chosen, not because you lack faith, but because your timing is vital. If you move late, you miss the alignment. If you miss the alignment, you lose the inheritance. You have already survived too much to forfeit your destiny now. Heaven has invested too much into your story to watch you stumble at the gate. The Spirit urges you, do not wait for perfect conditions. They will never come. Do not wait for everyone around you to understand. They never will. Obedience is rarely convenient, but it is always prophetic. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Beloved, do you hear the urgency in these words? Life and death, blessing and curse, hinge on choice, and choice demands timing. Perhaps you feel unprepared. Perhaps you wonder if you are strong enough. But strength is not what qualifies you. Obedience does. God never asked you to be perfect. He asked you to be present. Delay robs you of presence. Procrastination keeps you standing at the threshold, but never crossing over. And in these prophetic days, crossing over is everything. Chosen one. Think of a seed. If planted at the right season, it flourishes. If left too long on the shelf, it withers. You are that seed. Heaven has prepared the soil, the rain, the sun, but only you can release the planting. Delay leaves you in darkness, but obedience brings you into fruitfulness. Understand also that delay is not just about you. It ripples. Others are waiting on your obedience. Entire households, bloodlines, and even strangers will rise when you step forward. If you delay, they wait in chains. But if you act, they find freedom. This is why your obedience carries weight beyond yourself. Chosen one, hear me well. Do not allow fear to disguise itself as wisdom. Do not allow overthinking to masquerade as discernment. When heaven says move, move. When the Spirit stirs, respond. Delay is deadly, but obedience is life. And now, here is your prophetic act. As a sign that you are choosing not to delay, type in the comments the number 444. This is not superstition, it is alignment. 4 represents foundation, stability, the solid ground beneath your feet. By declaring this number, you are prophetically saying, I will not be shaken. I choose to stand firm. I choose obedience now. It is your marker in the Spirit that you refuse to let delay steal your destiny. Do not underestimate this act. Heaven honore déclaration. When you type it, you are sealing your commitment, not just with words, but with witness. The scrolls of heaven take note when the chosen ones declare their obedience. Beloved, you are standing on holy ground. Delay is whispering, but destiny is shouting. These days are not a rehearsal, they are real. The window is narrow, but it is open. Step through with obedience, and you will never be the same. You have been through fire. Now step into promise. You have carried tears. Now walk into joy. But you cannot carry the old weight into the new season. Lay it down. Move forward. Obey without delay. The hour is now. The choice is yours. And the witness of heaven is waiting for your response. Chosen one. Now, you must understand the cunning of the adversary. For as heaven calls you to align with September's prophetic window, hell works just as urgently to pull you out of position. The enemy knows he cannot erase your calling. He cannot blot out your name from the scrolls of heaven, but he can distract you, delay you, or drain you until you lose sight of what was written for you. This is the hour when the counterattack intensifies. Hell does not come with open threats alone. It often comes with whispers, subtle diversion, unexpected case, people who suddenly demand your attention, situations that rise out of nowhere to cloud your focus. The enemy is strategic. He knows if he can scatter your mind, he can weaken your spirit. If he can occupy your hands, he can keep you from grasping the crown heaven is lowering onto your head. Look back over your life, and you will notice a pattern. Every time you were about to cross into something significant, resistance increased, arguments flared, doubt crept in, finances shook, relationships wavered. It was not coincidence, it was warfare. And the same pattern seeks to repeat itself now. In these days when the heavens are opening wide, but recognition is power. When you see the pattern, you are no longer a pawn. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah. Chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. This is the very choice set before you. in this prophetic window. The enemy wants you to waver, to stand in indecision until the door shuts. Heaven calls you to step forward, not wavering, not halting, but choosing boldly. The counterattack of the enemy is not proof of your weakness, it is proof of your significance. Darkness does not waste energy on what does not matter. If you feel surrounded, it is because you are carrying something worth surrounding. If you feel pressed, it is because you are holding something precious. Your resistance is a mirror of your calling. Do not be surprised if old temptations resurface in these days. The enemy often digs into yesterday's graves to drag out what you already buried. Do not be surprised if voices from your past suddenly call. If opportunities that look good but lead nowhere suddenly appear. This is not chance, it is design. The counterattack is meant to lure you into old cycles so you cannot step into new seasons. But chosen ones recognize the bait and refuse it. Beloved, you must also guard your mind. The fiercest battles of this counterattack are often fought in thoughts. Doubt will whisper, "Did God really say?" Fear will echo, "What if you fail?" Comparison will creep, "Others are ahead of you." These are not neutral thoughts, they are fiery arrows. But arrows only pierce when you stand uncovered. Put on the shield of faith, and let every arrow fall powerless at your feet. Understand this also, the counterattack often uses weariness. The enemy knows if he cannot stop you, he can exhaust you. He will weigh you down with busyness, surround you with noise, keep you so distracted that you lose strength. But chosen ones know how to rest in the Spirit. They know when to retreat into prayer, when to silence the noise, when to return to the secret place where strength is renewed. Think of a runner. The final stretch is the hardest. Not because the course is impossible, but because fatigue fights hardest near the finish line. You are in that stretch now. The finish line is near. The inheritance is within reach. And that is why the counterattack feels heavier. But it is also why you must push through. The enemy is not fighting your past, he is fighting your future. Chosen one. Anchor yourself. Refuse to be swayed by sudden storms. Lift your eyes above the chaos. For heaven is still steady. The enemy may rage, but he cannot rewrite what God has decreed. His only hope is that you quit before you see it fulfilled. Do not give him that satisfaction. These days of September are holy, weighty, and dangerous. The counterattack is real, but so is the covering. You are not fighting alone. Heaven's armies are near. The Spirit within you roars louder than the lies around you. Every fiery dart will fall. Every scheme will fail. Every attempt to derail you will collapse if you remain steadfast. Do not be ignorant of the counterattack, but do not be intimidated by it either. Awareness brings clarity. Clarity breeds courage. Courage ensure victory. You are chosen, preserved, and destined. No counterattack can undo what heaven has already sealed. Chosen one. In every generation, God raises a voice, not an echo. In times of confusion and complacency, he calls forth men and women who will not merely repeat what others say, but who will declare what heaven speaks. In these prophetic days of September, you are not invited to be a bystander. You are summoned to be that voice in the wilderness. The wilderness has always been the training ground of the chosen. It is not a place of glamour, but of grit. It strips away comfort, silence, distraction, and sharpens the ears of those who pass through it. That is why your journey has felt lonely at times. That is why you have walked through seasons where no one seemed to understand you. The wilderness was not punishment, it was preparation. And now, as heaven marks these days, your voice is being called forth. Think of John the Baptist. He did not dwell in the palaces of kings, nor seek the applause of crowds. He lived in the wilderness, but his voice shook nations. His words were not wrapped in eloquence, but in fire. He carried a message that demanded attention, and though he was misunderstood, he was undeniable. In the same way, your life has been shaped in silence so that your words may carry weight when they are finally spoken. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 3. A voice of one calling, "In the wilderness prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God." This is not just history, it is prophecy repeating in you. You are called to prepare the way, to clear paths where others stumble, to make highways where others only see deserts. Do not underestimate the power of your voice. It may not sound like thunder to you, but in the Spirit, it shakes foundations. When you declare truth, you cut through lies. When you speak hope, you pierce despair. When you release light, darkness trembles. You are not called to be silent in this hour. Silence in prophetic days is agreement with the enemy. Your voice is your weapon, and it must be used. But know this, the voice of the chosen is often resisted. Many will not understand you. Some will dismiss you. Others may even mock you. This has always been the fate of those who carry heaven's fire. But rejection does not diminish authority. Misunderstanding does not erase anointing. The weight of heaven is not determined by human applause. Chosen one, the wilderness you endured has given you a rare gift, authenticity. While many echo borrowed words, you speak from the furnace of experience. You know the pain of waiting, the ache of silence, the cost of obedience. That is why your words carry life. They are born of reality, not theory. When you speak, others will feel the depth of your scars and the strength of your survival. And do not think your voice is limited to platforms or pulpits. Sometimes your wilderness cry will be heard in a single conversation, in a prayer, whispered over someone forgotten, in a testimony shared at the right moment. The wilderness voice is not about volume, it is about truth. Whether heard by one or by thousands, it carries the same power because it comes from heaven. Beloved, these days of September are stirring your voice awake. The fire in your bones cannot remain hidden. The Spirit within you will not let you stay silent. You will feel the urge to speak when others are quiet, to declare when others are uncertain, to warn when others ignore. Do not suppress this urge. It is the mark of the chosen. Remember, the wilderness is not a curse. It is a stage set by heaven. John prepared the way from the desert, not the city. Moses was called from the wilderness of Midian. David's songs were forged among lonely hillsides. And Jesus himself fasted and fought in the wilderness before his ministry began. The wilderness makes warriors. The wilderness births voices that shake history. Chosen one, take courage. The world does not need another echo. It needs the sound of your obedience. Your wilderness was not wasted. Every dry season, every silent night, every lonely road has prepared you to be a voice that carries weight in this prophetic hour. Do not hide now. Do not shrink back. The wilderness has trained you, and heaven is releasing you. Your voice will prepare the way for others to see what is coming. Your cry will cut through the noise of this age, and your obedience will awaken hearts that are still asleep. You are not called to spectate, you are called to sound the alarm. The wilderness voice is rising, and it carries your name, Chosen One. The fire you have walked through was never meant to consume you, it was meant to refine you. The heat of trials, the sting of betrayal, the weight of delay, all these have worked together to strip away what could not enter your future. In these prophetic days of September, heaven does not waste pain, it purifies purpose. The refining fire is never pleasant. It bends your knees, makes you question your strength, even tempts you to surrender in despair. But within that furnace, something holy is happening. Gold does not shine without fire. Diamonds are not formed without pressure. In the same way, your destiny does not emerge without refining. You thought you were breaking, but heaven was building. Look back at the flames you survived. The seasons when everything seemed lost, when people turned away, when your prayers hit silent skies, yet you endured. The truth is this: if those fires had truly been meant for your destruction, you would not be standing here now. But you are, and your survival is proof that the refining fire is working for you, not against you. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3, he will sit as a refiner, purifying like silver and gold. Then the Lord will have offerings in righteousness. This is what the fire has been doing in you, removing the impurities, burning away the distractions, leaving only what is eternal and unshakable. Chosen One, do not despise the fire. Though it has scorched, it has also strengthened. Though it has stripped, it has also shaped. The wilderness prepared your voice, but the fire prepared your heart. And in these prophetic days, what emerges from you will carry weight, because it has been tested. Understand this: the fire is not punishment, it is promotion. Just as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the furnace, yet found a fourth man walking with them, you too have never been alone. The flames surrounded you, but the fire within you was greater. You were not preserved from the fire, you were preserved in it. And now, when you step out, you will not even smell like smoke. This refining has separated you from what cannot endure. It has cut ties with illusions, burned bridges to old chains, and exposed the shallow foundations that could never carry your calling. The pain you felt was the evidence of heaven's pruning. The ache you carried was the sound of destiny being carved into you. But now, beloved, September calls you out of the fire and into fullness. You do not emerge the same as when you entered. Your faith is sharper. Your discernment is keener. Your resilience is unshakable. You no longer chase approval, because the fire burned away the need for it. You no longer cling to what is fragile, because the fire revealed its fragility. What remains is pure, steady, chosen. Consider the vineyard. A vine-dresser cuts branches not to destroy, but to bring greater fruit. The cut feels like loss, but it produces abundance. In the same way, heaven's refining may have cut deep, but it has ensured you will carry fruit in this next season. Others may not see it yet, but your roots run deeper, and your branches will bear more than before. Do not compare your fire to another's. Each furnace is tailored to the gold it must reveal. Some fires burn quickly, others slowly, but all have purpose. Your refining has been exact, intentional, designed to prepare you for the scroll being unsealed in your life. And here, chosen one, comes your prophetic act, as a declaration that you recognize the refining fire not as your enemy but as your ally. Type in the comments, "I am refined." These 3 words are not just a statement, they are a testimony. They tell heaven, hell, and even your own heart that what once tried to destroy you has only made you stronger. By writing it, you seal it. By declaring it, you embody it. Let this be your anthem. You are not burned. You are refined. You are not broken. You are purified. You are not forgotten. You are forged. And now, the days ahead will reveal the shine that only fire could bring. Chosen one, rise from the furnace with confidence. The refining fire has done its work, and you are stepping into a season where your purity of heart, strength of spirit, and clarity of vision will set you apart. Do not shrink back. Do not doubt the process. You carry the mark of the refined, and the world will see it in the glow you cannot hide. Chosen one, what you are facing in these days is a holy dividing line. Crown or chains. September's prophetic window has drawn a clear boundary between those who will step into freedom and those who will remain bound. The Spirit is not speaking vaguely. This is a season of decisive outcomes. You cannot stand in the middle ground any longer. Chains are familiar. They represent the voices of the past that try to hold you down, the failures, the betrayals, the memories of when you stumbled. Chains feel heavy, but they also feel familiar. And this is why many remain bound even when the door has been opened. Crowns, on the other hand, are uncomfortable at first. They symbolize responsibility, weight, and glory. But crowns are what the chosen are born to carry. Beloved, this moment is not about what you prefer, it is about what you choose. If you cling to old chains, you will miss the inheritance that was meant to rest upon your head. But if you release them, even trembling, heaven will place a crown that no enemy can snatch away. Think of Israel standing before the Red Sea. Behind them were chains, slavery, oppression, fear. Before them was the unknown waters that seemed impassable. But when they stepped forward, the waters parted, and the crown of freedom was placed upon their heads. Had they turned back, they would have returned to chains. The same choice is now before you. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, "I can do all things through Christ, who gives me strength." This is the anthem of the crowned, not because they are strong by themselves, but because the strength of Christ carries them beyond what chains once declared. Chosen one. This is also where you must recognize the value of community. You were never meant to carry your crown alone. Even kings had advisors, prophets, and armies. Even the early church, filled with fire, gathered to break bread and share resources. This path is not solitary. It is shared. That is why you are here, not just to receive, but to walk with others, to stand with a family of chosen ones who remind each other of their crowns when chains whisper. And here is where your actions matter. When you like this message, you are not just pressing a button, you are saying, "I lift this word higher so it can reach others who are fighting their chains." When you share, you are scattering seeds across barren fields. allowing light to break into places you cannot reach yourself. When you subscribe, you are saying, I want to stay aligned. I refuse to miss the next trumpet sound. No, even your giving, beloved, carries eternal weight. Imagine a candle burning in the dark. The flame is steady, but the oil will not last forever. A donation is oil. It keeps the flame alive, not only for you, but for countless others still stumbling in darkness. When you pour into this work, you are fueling the fire of freedom for souls you will never meet. You are saying, let this message keep burning. Let this light not go out. Oh, think of the widow with her 2 coins. To the world, it was small. To heaven, it was priceless. Why? Because it carried faith. The same is true of you. No act of support is overlooked. Heaven sees it. Heaven records it. And heaven multiplies it. Crown or chains. That is the decision in this hour. A crown requires courage, surrender, and action. Chains require nothing but silence and delay. Which will you choose? Do not let fear tell you the crown is too heavy. Do not let shame convince you the chains are permanent. Heaven has already extended the crown toward you. All that remains is your willingness to reach for it. Chosen one. Picture this. You are standing in a great hall. Before you lies a throne, empty but reserved. On the throne rests a crown of fire and gold. Behind you, shadows tug, chains rattle, memories echo. Heaven's voice calls forward. Hell's whispers pull back. You cannot stand still any longer. The hour demands your step. Beloved, let your step be firm. Walk toward the crown. Lay aside the chains. And as you do, remember that every act of faith, your engagement, your sharing, your generosity becomes another step forward, another link broken, another sign that you are choosing crown over chains. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning point. Chains may have defined your past, but they will not define your future. A crown awaits you, and with it, the authority to walk in the fullness of your calling. Chosen one. The prophetic days of September do not only shift your personal story, they open gates for generations and nations. What unfolds between the 11th of September, Shra, and 13 is not a private moment. It is a cosmic turning point where heaven reaches into the earth and writes on history itself. You are part of something far greater than your own survival. The Gate of Nations is a phrase the Spirit has whispered through the ages. It is the recognition that certain moments are not about one life, but about multitudes. Nations do not turn by politics alone. They shift in the Spirit. When the chosen align, when they step into obedience, entire lands are marked. Your obedience in these days ripples outward, touching families, tribes, communities, even governments. Look back across Scripture, and you will see the pattern. When Joseph obeyed in Egypt, he preserved not only his family, but entire nations from famine. When Esther stepped forward, she saved her people from destruction. When Paul carried the gospel into Gentile lands, he shifted the spiritual landscape of continents. One chosen person at the right moment opens a gate that alters history. The 11th of September, Shra, and 13 carry that kind of weight. Chosen one. Do not underestimate your role. It may seem small in your eyes, You may feel insignificant in the grand scale of nations, yet heaven sees differently. A single prayer, a single act of faith, a single refusal to bow to fear can shift atmospheres. When you align, gates open. When you falter, gates delay. That is why the enemy has pressed you so hard. He knows your obedience is tied to more than just yourself. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 5. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession, although the whole earth is mine. Do you hear the weight of these words? Nations hinge on obedience. God looks not only at rulers and kings, but at the chosen who dare to walk in covenant. Beloved, this is why you have felt the warfare not only in your own life but in the world around you. The turbulence of nations, the shaking of economies, the unrest of societies, it is all part of this prophetic gate. The earth groans for alignment, and heaven calls the chosen to stand in the gap. September's days are not random. They are moments where the gate creaks open, and the prayers of the faithful determine how wide it swings. Consider this: the gate is not a door of convenience. It is a threshold of responsibility. To step through it is to carry the burden of intercession, the call to stand for others who cannot stand for themselves. It is to pray for nations that may never know your name, to declare life over lands that may never thank you. Yet heaven records it, and history bears its fruit. Chosen one, the gate before you is wide, but it requires courage to pray boldly when others stay silent, to declare light when darkness seems overwhelming, to believe for nations when the headlines scream despair. This is the calling of those marked by heaven. You are not just a participant in history, you are a writer of it. Do not dismiss this as too lofty. You have already seen the ripple of your obedience, the times you spoke truth when it was costly, the prayers you prayed when no one listened, the acts of kindness you sowed when it seemed unnoticed. All of these were gate-opening acts. They may have looked small, but they were seeds in the soil of nations. Now the soil is trembling. The gates are shifting. The 11th of September, Shir-R, and 13 are a divine summons for you to step into a larger story, to lift your vision from your own struggles and see the nations that are tied to your yes. Beloved, you are not alone in this. Others are being awakened across the earth, chosen ones rising from every corner, their obedience creating a symphony of alignment. You are part of that chorus. Your voice matters in it. Your prayers carry weight in it. Together, chosen ones are pushing open the gate of nations, ensuring that light floods through where darkness once reigned. Do not falter now. These are not ordinary days. The gate swings, and heaven watches who will step forward. Nations are waiting. Generations are waiting. And heaven has marked you as one who carries the key, chosen one. Every prophetic season requires not only hearing, but responding. The 11th of September, Shar, and 13 are not just days for reflection, they are days for action, for sealing what heaven has spoken with a sign in the earth. This is why prophetic acts matter. They are not empty rituals, they are declarations that align your heart, your will, and your destiny with heaven's decree. Think of Joshua at Jericho. The walls did not fall because of human strength, but because of prophetic obedience, marching, shouting, blowing trumpets, These actions seemed foolish in the natural, but they carried divine power. In the same way, your simple response may seem small, but in the Spirit, it carries weight that shakes foundations. In these days, heaven is asking you to mark your yes with a number, not a random choice, but a prophetic symbol. This act is about agreement, about saying to heaven and earth, I align, I obey, I seal this word as mine. The ancient words recorded in Genesis, chapter 12, verse 2. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. This promise echoes through time, reminding us that God does not call his chosen ones to remain hidden in insignificance. He calls them to rise, to carry blessing, to become a channel through which his light reaches others. Your prophetic act in this moment is a step into that blessing. Chosen one. Listen carefully. There is a reason the Spirit presses you to respond. The enemy thrives in silence. He loves when you hear, but do not act. When you believe in your heart, but never declare with your mouth. Silence creates delay, but declaration creates momentum. That is why heaven is asking you to speak, to write, to declare even through a number. And so, in this sacred window, your prophetic number is 555. The number 5 has always symbolized grace, and when tripled, it is an overflowing flood of divine grace. By declaring this number, you are saying, I will not walk in my strength. I step fully into grace. I accept the supernatural help of heaven to carry me through this door. And type 555 the comments as your declaration, not because numbers save, but because obedience seals. This is your act of faith, your visible sign that you embrace the grace released in this prophetic window. When you write it, you step into alignment with what heaven is already speaking over you. Beloved, understand how vital grace is in this season. Without it, you cannot stand against the storms. Without it, the weight of destiny would crush you. But with grace, you soar where you once stumbled. Grace is the oil that makes the burden light, the power that makes the impossible possible. You cannot earn it, you can only receive it. And these days are saturated with grace for those who will declare it. Perhaps you feel weak, unqualified, unprepared. That is exactly why grace abounds. Grace fills the gaps. Grace lifts where your strength fails. Grace crowns where shame once ruled. Your prophetic number, 555, is more than digits. It is a banner over your life, declaring that grace, and more grace will carry you forward. Think of the times you almost gave up, yet something unseen lifted you. That was grace. Think of the moments you made mistakes but were not destroyed. That was grace. Think of the doors that opened you did not deserve. That was grace. And now, heaven says, the same grace that preserved you will propel you. Chosen one, lift your eyes. You are not crawling into destiny, you are being carried by rivers of grace. The prophetic act of typing 555 is your agreement with this truth. It is you saying, I surrender my striving. I accept his grace. This surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. Those who rely on themselves crumble. Those who lean into grace endure. And remember, grace is not just for you. When you declare it, you release it over those connected to you, your family, your community. Even strangers who cross your path will feel the overflow. You are not only stepping into grace, you are becoming a carrier of it. This is why your act matters. It ripples far beyond your own life. Beloved, the prophetic window is open. Grace is flowing like a mighty river. The Spirit is asking, will you step into it? Will you mark your yes with a prophetic act? Will you declare that you refuse to walk chained by your own effort, but crowned with heaven's grace? This is the moment. Type it. Declare it. Align with it. Let heaven see your response. Let hell know your decision. Let your own heart be sealed with this truth. You are chosen, and you are graced. Chosen one. The veil between heaven and earth is thinner in these prophetic days of September. It is not your imagination when your dreams intensify, when your nights feel heavy with meaning, when images and whispers stay with you long after waking. These are not random thoughts of the subconscious, they are visions of the night. Divine messages sent while your defenses are lowered, while your spirit listens more clearly than your waking mind. The book of Job reminds us that God speaks in many ways, though man may not perceive it. One of his most common ways is through dreams and visions. Why? Because in the quiet of the night, when distractions fade, when noise subsides, your soul is open. You cannot argue. You cannot dismiss. You cannot busy yourself. He finds you still, and he speaks. Chosen one, recall the dreams that unsettled you, the ones you could not shake. Perhaps you saw floods, fires, or shadows. Perhaps you saw doors, crowns, or light breaking through clouds. Do not take these lightly. Dreams are coded messages, symbolic scrolls written in images rather than words. They may not make sense at first glance, but they carry weight. They carry guidance, warning, encouragement, or revelation, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 11. The knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Dreams are often one of those secrets, revealed to the chosen, while the rest of the world sleeps unaware. In this prophetic window, your dreams may increase. Do not dismiss them as coincidence. Write them down. Pray over them. Seek discernment. Some dreams will warn you of pitfalls to avoid. Others will prepare you for blessings yet to come. Still others will give you glimpses of who you are becoming, showing you wearing crowns you do not yet feel worthy of. These visions are not fantasies, they are previews of destiny. Consider Joseph, the dreamer. His visions of sheaves bowing and stars aligning seemed foolish to others, even offensive. Yet those dreams were the map of his future. Though betrayal and prison followed, the visions never lied. At the appointed time, they came to pass. Your visions in the night may also be misunderstood, but they are not meaningless. They are blueprints of what is ahead. Beloved, also be aware, not every dream is divine. Some rise from fear, some from the enemy's attempt to sow confusion. This is why discernment is essential. A dream that leaves you hopeless and chained to despair is not from heaven, but a dream that warns with clarity, that convicts with love, that strengthens your resolve. That is the voice of the Spirit. Test the dream by its fruit. Does it push you closer to God or pull you into fear? That is how you discern the source. In these nights, heaven may also awaken you, suddenly. a stirring at 3 in the morning, a heaviness that presses you awake. Do not rush back to sleep. These are holy interruptions. Sometimes the Spirit wakes you because someone needs your prayer at that very moment. Sometimes He wakes you to deposit a word before your mind is too clouded with the day. Chosen ones learn to treat these wakeful moments not as nuisances but as invitations. Your visions may also come as pictures during prayer, as flashes of imagery in stillness. Do not ignore them. What you see in a moment may carry direction for months. A crown, a flame, a key, a doorway. These are not accidents. They are heaven's language. And your spirit understands, even when your mind lags behind. Chosen one, honor the visions of the night. Keep a journal by your bed. Write quickly, even if the details feel strange. Over time, patterns will emerge. You will see how the Spirit was guiding you, confirming His word, warning of danger, or encouraging your heart. These records will become testimonies, proof that heaven was speaking all along. And know this, the enemy fears your dreams. He tries to pollute them with nightmares, hoping to make you despise the night rather than treasure it. But do not yield. Claim your nights. Cover your rest in prayer. Declare that even as you sleep, heaven speaks, and the enemy has no right to intrude. Your sleep is holy ground, for even there, you are chosen, beloved. September's prophetic window is not only about what happens in the daylight, it is about what is whispered in darkness. When your eyes are closed, but your spirit is awake. Visions in the night are proof that you are not forgotten, that even in silence heaven speaks. Do not ignore them. Do not fear them. Do not dismiss them. They are your compass, your comfort, your confirmation. You are chosen not just to walk by day, but to dream by night. And in these dreams, the secrets of the kingdom unfold, preparing you for what your waking eyes have not yet seen. Chosen one, you are not walking through these prophetic days of September alone, invisible to the natural eye but undeniable in the spirit. Heaven's armies surround you. Angels are not distant myths or ornamental symbols. They are living messengers, guardians, and warriors dispatched to walk with those marked by God. And in this hour, their assignments are urgent, precise, and deeply connected to your destiny. Throughout Scripture, angels appeared at critical moments. They shut the mouths of lions for Daniel. They strengthened Jesus in Gethsemane. They struck down enemies who rose against Israel. They brought messages, opened prison doors, and waged battles unseen by men. Their presence is proof that heaven never sends the chosen into war uncovered. For every demonic counterattack, there are angelic reinforcements. For every scheme of darkness, there is a host of light. You may not always feel them. Their footsteps are soundless, their wings invisible, their swords hidden from human sight. Yet their presence shifts atmospheres. Have you ever felt sudden peace in a storm? As if something greater entered the room. Have you ever narrowly escaped danger? The kind of moment others called luck, but you knew was providence. These are often the fingerprints of angelic presence. Sometimes their presence is felt not in thunder, but in stillness. Not in dramatic visions, but in subtle protection. It may be the sudden delay that kept you from an accident, the inner nudge that told you not to trust a certain voice, or the inexplicable strength that carried you through a day you thought would break you. These quiet interventions are no less miraculous. They are reminders that heaven assigns guardians, and your path is never unwatched. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This promise is not poetic exaggeration, it is covenant truth. Chosen ones walk under watchful eyes. Every step, every battle, every wilderness journey is marked by angelic guardianship. Beloved, understand that angels are not sent for comfort alone, they are sent for mission. Some stand guard, ensuring no weapon prospers. Others whisper guidance, steering you away from snares you did not see. Still others wage war in the spirit, pushing back darkness that tried to encroach upon your territory. You may never know the battles fought on your behalf, but you live in the fruit of their victories every day. There is also a mystery here. Angels respond to obedience. When you align with heaven, they align with you. When you declare God's word, they are activated. For angels hearken to the voice of his command. But when you hesitate, when you sink into fear, they wait, for they cannot move outside the will of God. Your courage in this season is not only for yourself, it is the signal that summons angelic movement. Chosen one. In these prophetic days, you will sense their nearness more strongly. Dreams, visions, sudden impressions, they are not always coincidence. Sometimes the brush of heaven feels closer because the veil has thinned and the armies of light are walking beside you. The intensity of the battle requires their presence, but the certainty of your victory is sealed by their strength. Do not worship them. Do not fixate on them. They are not the source, they are the servants of the source. But do not ignore them either. To walk unaware is to miss part of heaven's provision. Be sensitive. Be grateful. Speak the word boldly, and know that unseen hands carry it forward. Chosen one. Let this truth sink deeply. You are never abandoned. Not in the valley, not in the fire, not in the wilderness. Angels are dispatched with your name etched on their assignment. Their wings stretch wide, their swords burn bright, and their allegiance is to the one who called you chosen. That means their allegiance is also to the path he has marked for you. Lift your head, then, and walk with confidence. The road may feel lonely, but it is not empty. The nights may feel silent, but they are not unguarded. You move through September's prophetic window under escort, surrounded by warriors of light. Even when you cannot see them, they see you. Even when you feel weak, they are strong. Even when you stumble, they lift you. The clash of kingdoms is fierce, but the outcome is not uncertain. Angels walk with you, and the armies of heaven march ahead. You are chosen, covered, and carried. Chosen one. This is the season of great separation. September's prophetic days do not simply stir emotions, they draw lines, divide paths, and reveal who truly belongs to the ranks of the chosen. It is not about who attends a service, who sings the songs, or who speaks the language of faith. It is about alignment of heart and obedience of spirit. These days are the threshing floor, and the threshing floor separates grain from chaff. You may already feel it. Some around you begin to drift, no longer walking the same road. Conversations grow shallow. Old companions feel distant, And people who once understood you now misunderstand you. Do not despair. This is not rejection. It is refinement. God is sifting, shaking, and separating. Not all who start with you are destined to finish with you. Separation is never easy. Chosen one, but it is holy, like gold refined in fire. What remains after the shaking is what can truly endure. You may mourn the distance. You may question why certain hands no longer reach for yours. But heaven sees further than you. God removes not to leave you empty, but to free your steps for greater ground. What feels like loss today will one day reveal itself as protection and preparation. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Amos. Chapter 3, verse 3. Do two walk together, unless they have agreed. In this season, only those who agree with heaven's call will walk with you. Others may admire from afar, but they cannot share the same path. The great separation is not cruelty, it is mercy. It ensures that you are not weighed down by voices that cannot hear what you hear, nor distracted by hearts that do not carry your burden. Think of wheat and weeds. Both grow together for a time, but the harvest reveals the difference. The wheat bends heavy with fruit, the weeds stand tall with emptiness. The harvest does not create the difference, it exposes it. These prophetic days are doing the same. They are revealing who carries oil in their lamp and who carries only the appearance of light. Beloved, the separation may sting. Letting go always does. But understand, your calling is too costly to be hindered by shallow ties. If Noah had waited for the approval of the crowd, he would have drowned with them. If Abraham had clung to his homeland, he would have forfeited the promise. Separation precedes elevation. It is not loss, it is preparation. This is also the hour where your voice matters. You are not only walking into separation, you are helping others recognize their own. When you comment, when you speak truth, you are joining in the prophetic act of standing apart. So let your words rise. Share what stirs your spirit. Engage with this message. Your comment may be the very spark that awakens another chosen one to recognize the great separation in their own life. And yes, beloved, your support matters more than you know. Imagine a lighthouse standing against the storm. Its light cuts through waves and fog, guiding ships to safety. But that light requires oil to keep burning. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, you are not simply interacting, you are pouring oil into the lamp. And when you donate, you are adding fuel that ensures the flame never goes out. Think of it this way. Every gift is a stone added to the altar. Every act of support another spark of fire on the offering. It is not about size, it is about sincerity. The widow's 2 coins became an eternal testimony, not because of their value, but because of her heart. Your giving, however small or great, becomes part of the eternal story of light, pushing back darkness. Beloved chosen one, do not underestimate how heaven uses even the simplest actions. A like becomes a wave that carries this word further. A share becomes a bridge to someone drowning in silence. A subscription becomes a tether, keeping you connected to the flow of fresh manna. And a donation becomes seed, not just for you, but for countless souls yet to awaken. The separation is here, and you must decide how you will stand. Will you cling to the crowd, or will you step apart with the chosen? Your actions reveal your answer, your voice, your support. Your willingness to invest in light, all of it declares. I am set apart. I choose my crown. I will not remain chained. M. Beloved, you are wheat, not weeds. You are oil, not empty lamps. You are set apart, not swallowed by the crowd. Walk boldly in that truth. Let your actions echo it. Stand tall in this great separation. For heaven is watching, and earth will feel the ripple of your choice. Chosen one. You are now standing at the edge of a great doorway. For days, heaven has been sounding the alarm, reminding you of tears, revealing warfare, unsealing scrolls, exposing the enemy's distractions, and showing you visions in the night. All of this has been leading here to the threshold, the 11th of September, Shirah. And 13 are not mere dates, they are a door. And only those who step through will carry the mantle prepared for them. A door is a place of decision. It is both invitation and responsibility. You cannot linger at the threshold forever. To hesitate is to lose the moment. But to step forward is to enter new territory. The choice is costly, but it is also glorious. Heaven is not just offering you relief, it is offering you inheritance. This is why the pressure feels so heavy. You are standing in front of destiny's door. Every doorway in Scripture carried both risk and reward. Noah stepped into an ark while the world mocked him. Ruth stepped across a border into a land not her own. Peter stepped out of a boat onto impossible waters. Each decision seemed small in the moment, yet it altered history forever. So it is with you. Chosen one. This door may look ordinary to others, but in the Spirit it is extraordinary, and eternity waits for your step. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 22, verse 22. I will place on his shoulder the key to David's house. What he opens, none can shut. What he shuts, none can open. This is what is happening now. A door ordained by heaven is open before you, and no hand of man, no scheme of darkness, can close it. But the question remains, will you step through? Stepping through the door means leaving behind what cannot follow. You cannot carry chains into a throne room. You cannot drag old mindsets into a new mantle. This is why the refining fire came first, so that only what is pure, steady, and eternal walks with you into the new season. The hesitation you feel is the tension between what you must leave and what you are about to gain. Think of Israel at the Jordan River. After 40 years of wandering, the promised land lay ahead. But crossing meant trusting waters to part. Some longed for Egypt. Others feared giants. But those who stepped forward saw rivers open and walls fall. The same is true for you. This is not about comfort. It is about courage. You may not see the full path, but heaven requires your step before it reveals the way. Beloved, do not underestimate the significance of this door. It is not just about you, it is about those tied to your obedience. Families, communities, even generations are connected to whether you cross or remain. You are not stepping through as an individual, you are stepping through as a carrier of legacy. Your yes is not private, it echoes into eternity. Stepping through also means embracing the mantle. A mantle is not clothing, it is weight. Authority. Responsibility. When Elijah's mantle fell upon Elisha, his life was forever altered. Fields, plows, and oxen were left behind, because the mantle demanded full attention. In the same way, The door you face will clothe you with authority you did not carry before, but it will also demand focus, sacrifice, and surrender. This is why heaven asks you to count the cost. The door is glorious, but it is not easy. Yet chosen ones were never called to easy roads. You were forged in fire for this very reason, that you would not crumble under the mantle, but carry it with strength. Beloved, the doorway is before you. You feel the weight of it already, the trembling, the anticipation, the battle. But heaven has not brought you this far to abandon you now. The same hand that preserved you in the valley will empower you to step into the promise. The same Spirit that whispered in your wilderness will roar as you cross into new ground. Do not stand at the threshold forever. The window is narrow. The door is open now. The mantle waits on the other side. And though fear whispers and hesitation presses, your spirit knows the truth. You were born for this step. Chosen one. Lift your head. Place your hand on the door. Breathe deep. And move. This is the moment you were prepared for. This is the mantle you were refined for. And when you step through, the earth itself will know that a chosen one has answered heaven's call. Chosen one. The hour is weighty. The prophetic days of September do not end with the closing of a calendar, they ripple into eternity. What you do now, how you respond, and whether you step into alignment will echo far beyond this moment. Eternity listens when the chosen ones move. This is the truth. Heaven presses upon you. Obedience is never small. Each act, whether seen or unseen, stretches into generations. The choice of Abraham to leave his homeland birthed nations. The choice of Moses to stand before Pharaoh freed millions. The choice of Mary to say yes to the angel brought forth salvation himself. These were not random moments, they were eternal ripples. And now, your life carries that same weight. You may not see the full picture. The path ahead may still seem hidden, covered in mist. But eternity sees what your eyes cannot. Heaven knows that your surrender now will save others later. Your courage now will open doors your children will walk through. Your faith now will create ripples in nations you may never set foot in. Nothing is wasted when it is surrendered. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 58. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. This is heaven's assurance to you. Your labor has weight. Your faith has meaning. Your obedience is never forgotten. Chosen one. Eternity is not far away. It is already unfolding. Each decision is a seed. And seeds do not stay buried forever. They grow. They bloom. They bear fruit in times and places you may never see. When you choose to obey, you are sowing into fields beyond your lifetime. That is why heaven watches so closely and why hell resists so fiercely. The ripple effect of your life terrifies the darkness. Think of a stone cast into water. The ripples move outward, far beyond the point of impact. So it is with your destiny. Your prayers ripple. Your tears ripple. Your acts of courage ripple. What began in your secret place will shake public places. What started in your wilderness will flow into cities. What you whispered in pain will one day be shouted as testimony. This is why the prophetic days of September matter so much. They are not just about you surviving another season. They are about you shaping eternity. The scroll of your life is being written, and these days are a chapter of turning, a chapter of inheritance, a chapter of obedience that unlocks more than you realize. Beloved, the eternal ripple is not meant to burden you, but to remind you that your life is not small. The enemy has tried to convince you that you are insignificant, that your prayers fall unheard, that your battles are wasted. But heaven declares otherwise. You are chosen, and your impact stretches far beyond what you see. Lift your eyes, then, and walk with confidence. Live as one who knows their steps. Echo. Speak as one who knows their words. Travel further than the ear. Pray as one who knows their voice shakes heaven and earth. This is your inheritance to carry eternal weight in fragile hands. Chosen one. The ripple has already begun. Your survival was the first wave. Your faith in the fire was the second. Your surrender in this prophetic window will be the third. And from here, the waves will only grow. Others will rise because you stood. Nations will shift because you prayed. Generations will flourish because you obeyed. You were not chosen for the temporary. You were chosen for the eternal. And now, eternity leans closer, waiting for your yes, watching for your obedience, ready to carry your ripple across time and space. Chosen one, you have walked through the weight of every word, step by step, from the first alarm of heaven to the eternal ripple that echoes beyond this season. These 17 sections have not been stories for the ear only. They have been a summons to your spirit. Heaven has leaned close, whispered, destiny, warned of delay, revealed fire, unveiled scrolls, and pointed you toward the door that changes everything. Now the moment rests with you. What will you do with what you have heard? Words without response fade like mist in the morning, but words acted upon become seeds that grow into forests of legacy. This is not the time to slip back into silence. This is the time to let your agreement rise. When you like this message, it is not a shallow gesture. It is as though you are adding another stone to an altar of remembrance, saying, "This word matters. This truth stands." When you share, you are scattering seed into unknown fields, letting another weary soul find light through your obedience. When you subscribe, you are choosing to remain connected, to not miss the fresh manna that heaven releases. And yes, even your giving carries eternal weight. A donation is not mere currency, it is oil poured into the lamp, ensuring the flame does not go out. You are saying, "Let this fire burn for me, and let it burn for those still in the dark." Finally, let your own voice join the chorus. Comment, what stirred you? What awakened you? What confirmed what the Spirit has already been whispering? Your words may be the spark that ignites another chosen one. Beloved, the call has been sounded. Heaven has spoken. Now rise, act, align, and let the ripple of your obedience shake eternity.